Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man.
Hey guys, and welcome to Film Artsy, your number one source for all things films and movies. And now, with the movie industry really kicking back up into high gear, we're starting to see a lot of the movies from the Marvel Cinematic Universe start to up production again, and things are now kind of going back into full swing. And recently, we've actually have been speculating and watching a lot of the actors throughout the MCU kind of make their way to the filming locations, whether it's Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, or even in this case, Thor. And we now have some really big information about Thor Love and Thunder that is not only massive for the plot and what they're planning on doing with the story, but also really unique to anything we've seen from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So let's go ahead, jump into this, and talk about this a little bit. Now, of course, we've been tracking a lot of the things that have been happening with Thor's production with this fourth movie. We know from a while back, Natalie Portman is actually set to return as her character Jane Foster from the first two Thor movies. Now, we actually have gotten some small story spoilers from Natalie Portman herself, who talked about her character and what is going to be happening with her character in the future. So, it's minor spoiler alert if you want to go into the movie completely blind. We could be talking about potential plot points, even though it seems like it is kind of the premise of the movie, from what we can understand, not so much major plot spoilers. So, you guys kind of know ahead of time before we jump into this. But as it apparently turns out from an interview from Natalie Portman, she actually stated that her character, Jane Foster, would be going through cancer treatment, which is actually taken directly out of the Mighty Thor storyline that is present in the comic books, which kind of confirms that this version of Jane Foster that is going to become a Thor character will be taking on the title of the Mighty Thor. She also, in the interview, talked a little bit about how her character will be very similar to Thor, but not necessarily have the exact same powers. She'll have her own version of it, and it's different, but it's going to be the quote-unquote Mighty Thor, not just Thor or whatever we kind of know the character Thor as that we've seen. Now, there's also been confirmations that this movie will still follow the more comedic tone that we've seen in Thor Ragnarok, which was definitely an extremely popular Thor movie in comparison to the other two Thor movies that had come out prior. So that's really exciting to see. And we know that Taika Waititi is set to, of course, direct and write this movie as well. So there's definitely a lot of hype around this movie. Now, we do know that the movie is kind of ramping up in filming and production, as not too long ago, Christian Bale, who's set to appear in this movie in some way or another, while we don't have a full fleshed out idea of what his role will entail, we know that he arrived in Sydney, Australia, likely there to prepare for production starting extremely soon. So there's definitely a lot of different things going on, but here's a short clip of what we saw when Christian Bale arrived in Australia, and that's why people are speculating production is getting a lot closer. Also, not too long ago, we saw Thor, Chris Hemsworth, and Taika Waititi talking behind the scenes on set possibly, which has confirmed or at least caused a lot of people in the community to speculate that production is way closer than maybe what had initially been anticipated. But nonetheless, it's really interesting whether or not this is going to be shot completely in Australia or if they're going to branch out and go to other locations. And with a lot of the quarantine stuff going on, it does make production a lot trickier, as these actors have to self-quarantine before they arrive on production, and there's a lot of very strict guidelines in place, making it definitely not as easy to film movies as it was before. Nonetheless, it seems like Disney and Marvel have taken a lot of time to really plan out a roadmap on how to get these movie productions back on track and going again, and it looks like Thor Love and Thunder is kind of right at that turning point where production is about to start. And this movie is supposed to release theatrically February 2022. So it's definitely after we get past this next year of movies releasing that we're supposed to release this year, we're going to possibly see this movie drop very soon unless they decide to put it in some sort of delay. But let us know what you think. Do you think this idea of bringing Jane Foster back and kind of introducing a new hero by also kind of tying it together with the rest of the Thor series sounds like a good idea? Let us know what you're thinking in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on for more videos like this. We'll see y'all next time with a brand new video.
I'm about to.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hi.
See you guys.
Know anybody?